In this activity, we're going to translate inequality phrases, and they're fairly complicated because there's two parts. So these are two-step, we call them two-step inequalities, because there's always two parts to them. So as I read the sentence, I need to figure out what the two different parts are to put together, and then what inequality symbol to use in between them. So this one says twice the sum, and that word sum means addition. So we're going to add when we see sum. Twice the sum of x and 3. So now it's the sum of these two things. So twice the sum of these two things. So twice, I'm going to use parentheses to separate. So twice the sum of x and 3. So there's the sum of x and 3, and there's twice, two times, the x and 3 is less than 5. So the symbol is less than. There's my less than, and then 5. So here's my x plus 3, that's the sum, and then I have two of those, twice that. So all I'm trying to do is pick apart this sentence and figure out what each part is giving me for the inequality. So let's do that again. So here's a 4 times x, that's multiplication, so that's 4x plus 2 is at most. So at most means less than or equal to, and then the 10 just comes down. So I'm going to write 4x plus 2, it's the 4 times x, plus 2 is at most 10. And there's my algebraic expression inequality for that phrase. Let's look at the next one, 15 more than. So when I say 15 more than, that's going to be plus 15 to something. And that something is 3 times a number. And 3 times a number is my 3x. So I have 3x plus 15, because it's 15 more than this. 15 more than this is at most. So there's an at most again. So less than or equal to 7. Less than or equal to 7. So there's my 7. So I'm trying to interpret each piece as to what part of the algebraic expression I'm working on to figure out what to write. So again, we have the sum, that's add. The sum of 2 times x and 1. So we're going to add those two. That's what the sum part is. When sum 2 times x and 1 is at least, so now we're talking greater than or equal to 11. So if something's at least, that means it's there or more. So 2x plus 1 is greater than or equal to at least 11. See, so the sum of 2 times x and 1 is at least 11. And there's the phrase written in an algebraic expression form. 8 less than 5 times a number. So 8 less than, that's going to be minus 8. To be 8 less than something, you've got to take away 8. 5 times the number is my 5x. And then it is greater than, and there's the 6. So think about it like this, 5x minus 8. So 8 less than 5 times the number is greater than 6. 8 less than, that's the minus 8, 5 times the number is greater than 6. These are all my different parts. As I take that phrase and put it into an algebraic expression. Here's a term you don't see very often. Thrice is just a way of saying 3. So we're going to do 3, thrice the difference between, now difference is subtraction. So we're going to have a subtraction part in this. So the difference between x and 4, so that subtract means the difference between these is x minus 4. And it says we're going to take 3 of those, thrice. So 3 of these, thrice the difference, that's subtraction, x minus 4, is less than 9. Is less than 9. Thrice the difference between x and 4, so the difference between those two, is less than 9. So again, we're just interpreting the phrase, each part, as we go. So 11 less than, so that's going to be a minus 11. 7 times a number, there's a 7x, is at least, so greater than or equal to 2. So now I can put those together, 7x minus 11 is greater than or equal to 2. So 11 less than, there's that part, 7 times the number, is greater than or equal to, in other words, it's at least 2. It's got to be really more than 2 would be the way to say it. Twice the sum of, so 2 twice the sum, that means we're going to add the sum of 13 and x, so that's what we're going to add. So x plus 13 or 13 plus x. So 2 of those, 2 of these. And I could have written this 13 plus x as well. Either way is true, it's the same thing. Is not greater than. So that means it's less than or equal to 15. So we've got that, which is less than or equal to 15. And I know it's the equal to symbol in there because not greater than includes 15. 15 is not greater than 15. So that's why the equal sign is in there as well. A couple more examples. 14 less than, so here's another subtraction. 14 less than minus 14. 5 times a number, there's my 5x. 5 times a number, this is the x, this is the 5, is at most, so that means we're less than or equal to 10. So we can put these together. And I'm going to do this both ways just because it actually doesn't matter. So I could actually think of this as a negative 14 plus 5x is less than or equal to 10. Or if you really want to think of it as 14 less than, and these can be switched. Their order actually doesn't matter as long as that negative is still attached to the 14, because this is really a negative 14 there as well. So either way, that would still be correct. And then the last example, thrice, there's that oddly rarely used term. Thrice is 3. So thrice the sum, there's addition of x and 12, and so that's what I'm going to add. So x plus 12. So 3 of these, which means I need parentheses, 3 of these. Thrice the sum of x and 12 is greater than or equal to, so I have the symbol greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and then the last thing is the 8. And that's how you translate really two-step or a little bit more complicated phrases into their correct inequality